Francisco. Beautiful, majestic, and ever fascinating as a cultural melting pot. Truly a city to behold. While you probably already know about the many sights of San Francisco, the Golden Gate Bridge, Lombard Street, the cable cars, and Alcatraz, you probably don't know about the famous Franciscan Assemblage. This group of famous rocks can be found in different places around the world, but most famously right here, next to the shining city. To find such an abundance of rare rock formations is quite a wonderful treat. Just another example of the world's amazing invention. Just below the Golden Gate, on the edge of the city, we find ourselves at Baker Beach. A wonderful relaxation spot where even some come to relax without their clothes. And it's our first example of the Franciscan rocks, and in my opinion, the most wonderful. The rock that I am sitting on is known as serpentine, or serpentinite. It can often be recognized by its greenish tinge. It is a very crumbly rock, as you can see demonstrated right here. When it rains, the serpentinite is turned into a muddy-like substance which often produces landslides. While it is a beautiful rock, it can also be very dangerous to those who do not know its qualities. Even more fascinating than the rock itself is how it came to be here. The serpentine is a metamorphosed rock. The igneous rock basalt, put under heat and pressure, and a hydrothermal reaction, is metamorphosed into the serpentine. The odd thing is, this reaction happens deep within the ocean. How did the serpentine come to be here? It all has to do with the amazing faults that exist right here. Because the edge of the North Atlantic Plate was recently a subduction zone, the serpentine was carried across the ocean floor until it reached the North Atlantic Plate. It was then accreted onto the plate here and was then moved up the coast with the San Andreas Fault. What an amazing rock! If we walk farther down to the beach, we can see other different kinds of rocks. These small rocks are sometimes serpentine and sometimes other kinds of rocks. Right here we see a wonderful example of greywacke. Like the sandstone, it is a sedimentary rock. Unlike the sandstone, which is formed of just sand sediments, greywacke is known as a dirty sandstone. It contains mud, which is a much smaller sediment. Sedimentary rocks such as greywacke must have a cohesive glue that keep them together. The most common glue is quartz, which also happens to be the most common mineral on the planet. Greywacke is only made in one place, in the trench at a subduction zone. Landslides from the coast have enough energy to carry sediments from the land down into the trench. These eroded sediments are put under pressure and forms the greywacke. A large percentage of the greywacke subducts under the continental plate and becomes mantle once again, but some of it is accreted onto the plate and eventually ends up here. If you cross the Golden Gate and venture to the North Bay, you enter the picturesque Marin Headlands. These magnificent rolling hills are beautiful to see. You can take a drive along the coast and enjoy the view of the ocean. But not only can you enjoy the view of the ocean, you can also enjoy the view of the magnificent rock called Chert. The chert, which you can see behind me, is another sedimentary rock which forms very visible beds. The chert is also formed very far out in the ocean, far below the CCD. Far out in the ocean reside little animals called radiolaria, whose skeletons are primarily comprised of silicon. When these radiolaria die, the skeletons deep to the bottom of the ocean were after a long time put under pressure, they form this chert. If you look very hard at the chert, you can sometimes see the small skeletons of the radiolaria. Not only is this chert a remarkable rock, you can also see the faulting and the folding within it. Just looking at this portion, you can see astounding examples. What amazing power the Earth does contain. Farther along the coast, we can see amazing examples of pillow basalts. Pillow basalts are formed at divergent boundaries and hotspots. As the magma breaches the oceanic crust, it is almost instantly cooled by the surrounding water. Because it is cooled so quickly, the magma forms pillow-like formations, evident from their name. Out of all the Franciscan rocks, the pillow basalts are the only igneous formation. If you look just over my shoulder, you can see an amazing example of the pillow basalts that have come here from their original formation spot in the middle of the ocean. Amazing distances. The Franciscan Assemblage is one of the world's greatest examples of these fascinating rocks. People travel from all over the world just to see not only the city, but the rocks that it is built upon. I invite you to go on a wonderful adventure to see these rocks and participate in an epic... Oh my goodness, an earthquake! Because we are on the San Andreas...